Hey YouTubers. Today I would just like to discuss why do I have such an obsession with politics and how I got into politics in the first place. And I guess my entry into politics began in around 2003 and 2004 during the Iraqi invasion, and in 2004 my mother ran for office and won. My mother used to be deputy mayor of the city I live in. So it was around 2003 and 2004. It was when I noticed when I noticed the early 2003 protests against the Iraq War. Was when I first realized the idea that if you see some injustice in the world, you speak out against it. So that's when it all started. In 2004 my mother ran for office and won. 2004 was also the year of the first directly elected president of Indonesia. Now back then I was a Dutch citizen and couldn't vote, but my interest in politics really started then. My interest in politics increased a lot in 2008 with the election of Barack Obama. That's when I really became enthusiastic, because I thought, we can really make a change this time around and make the world a better place. And with my discovery of my love of politics, I thought that through politics, maybe we can get something done to solve the climate crisis. By the way, climate change skeptics, your comments will be deleted. Now, a lot of people have asked me whether I would ever run for office, whether I would enter politics. To some extent, I have entered politics. I'm a political commentator. I did a lecture on in a local university on elections, on politics in general. So that's a start. I hope one day, with all my accumulated knowledge, I can write a book on elections and voting systems and political culture. And I hope to one day, as a result of that book being a bestseller, hopefully, I don't know, one can dream, to be sitting at the table during an election as the returns come in. To be sitting in a television studio as returns come in from a national election and crunching the numbers and discussing why people voted one way or another. So that's my dream of politics. My ambition, sorry. And I can also be a campaign manager and a campaign advisor, especially when my mother runs for office. Or if my wife runs for office, she's considering the idea of entering politics herself. But am I ever going to be an elected politician? Run for elected office? No, unfortunately. For two reasons. One, I just don't have the personality. I'm not good at public speaking. I cannot stand in front of 1,000 people and convince them to vote for me. I just don't have the social skills of knocking on doors and shaking thousands of hands and listening to everybody's problem, every individual person's problems. And I also made this rule. If you cannot get a degree in university, you shouldn't run for elected office, especially not president or prime minister, if you do not graduate university or college. What? Why not? Am I not smart enough? But I actually have to rethink that. Basically, if you get a degree in college, you are qualified to run for office. If you do not enter college in the first place, no one will know if you're qualified or not. But if you graduate from university, you should be able to run for politics. Why? Because you have to stay up long hours at night studying and making it in class in time for a test and so on, and stay up until 2 a.m. studying. I've seen my brother do it. That's stressful, and that is putting all the hard work into it. If you cannot stay up until 2 a.m. studying, stay up all night studying for a test coming the next day, then if you're not qualified to do that, if you cannot do that, then you shouldn't run for office. And frankly, I cannot do that either. So I don't have the personality and the skills to be an elected politician. I am very, very good at gathering knowledge I am interested in. That's why I can share all my knowledge with you. But again, I can't be bothered with all the effort of convincing people to vote for me. Anyway, the second reason why I am unable to run for office is because Indonesia's political culture and Indonesia's party system is too partisan for me and too national for me. It is very difficult for me to get into the political fray here, because actually I can run for local office, local elected office. I cannot run nationally, and I just explained why. And I cannot run regionally. The local level is where it's at for somebody like me. It's in my DNA, I am a local politician. The problem here is there is not enough local elected offices, or there's not enough local level elected officials. Everyone below regional or city councillor or mayor or district head, everyone below that is appointed by the government. They are all government bureaucrats. So there is not enough local elected offices. There's no school board like in the United States. There's no dog catcher or sheriff like in the United States. So to the credit of the United States, for all its local elected positions, I could probably run for office in the US. So to the credit of the US, all those local elected offices I like, despite the two-party system. But the local offices, local elected officials are non-partisan. And so there's not enough local offices, for local elected offices here in Indonesia for me to run. And the problem here is politics is too nationalized. All politics here these days is national politics and less emphasis on local level politics, where the real hard work can be accomplished, where we can see real results. Local politicians are the nice politicians, are the ones who genuinely care about their voters. They're the ones who do everything they can in their power to improve the lives of the voters. City councilors, mayors, local officials, town administrators. These people care most about the voters, because in the national level, politicians are so high up in power, and they don't have to micromanage these little details like fixing a pothole. They only care about their own. At the national level, they are already in such a powerful position, and they don't have to manage those micro details. They become arrogant, corrupt, and out of touch with the voters. At the local level, the local politicians have to micromanage these little issues, as well as the fact that they acknowledge that they are not in a really powerful position. So they know they don't have the power, so that makes them genuinely care about the people who voted for them. They are very family and neighborhood oriented. You must forgive me, I have a sort of a cough here, so that's why I'm drinking a lot. Now, again, since there's not enough local offices for me to run on, I cannot be elected. And because people focus too much on national politics, there's not enough emphasis on achievements at the local level. Every political party in Indonesia has to be a national political party. No regional political parties allowed, like the SNP in the UK, or Bloc Québécois in Canada, or the Vermont Progressive Party in the state of Vermont in the US. There are no regional parties allowed. All political parties have to be national, with the exception of the province of Aceh, which is a special administration. And because Indonesia is such a vast country, and that every political party has to be national, because of the big population and the large area, with each passing election, fewer and fewer political parties are being registered. There are fewer and fewer officially registered political parties. There is a decline in registered political parties in Indonesia, similar to US with their strict ballot access laws, or Russia, where party registration is always becoming more and more strict. Here it is also becoming more and more strict standards in order to have a registered political party, a national registered political party. So it is a disturbing trend, because it gets less and less democratic with each passing year. Although, to be fair, Indonesians don't form political parties not really based on ideology, but their local ambitions. So these stricter rules, to be fair, also might have a positive result in that people set all their petty small ambitions aside with their own individual political parties and work in bigger political parties for the greater good. Because again, Indonesians, they don't really think about their platform or manifesto. They don't really care about ideology. They just care about their personal little niche of power. And because Indonesia is a party list proportional system, because Indonesia's politics is partisan, there are very few non-partisan independent elected offices. For that, you can go for the upper house, the regional representative council. Though that's a non-partisan. The upper house, the upper chambers of parliament, That's a non-partisan elected office. But there's not enough non-partisan elected offices in this country. All of them are partisan, and Indonesians focus, like I said, too much on national politics and not what can be accomplished at the local level. And also what can they don't notice the accomplishments of individual party members. When an individual party member produces results for their constituents, all the credit goes to the national party leader. So Prabowo Subianto, the leader of the Gerindra party here in Indonesia, can say, or the leader, or Abu Rizal Bakri of the Golkar party, they can point out and point to say, I fixed that road, I built that hospital, instead of giving credit to the local member of parliament or the local legislator or town councillor or mayor, instead of giving credit to them for pushing that program through. So you can see that it's very difficult for people who are passionate about their communities to really enter politics in this country. Anyway, but that does not deter my love of politics. I try to focus on what can be accomplished and press on with it. Anyway, thanks for listening.